the Iron Man movies, hopefully there'll only be two. Um, and the comic book as well that began with it. It was the Iron Man mythology that's involved with the comic books and movies is very much propaganda for the military-industrial complex. The idea of that, the need to have giant military defensive systems and huge corporations could themselves be reconciled, and then also reconciled with the concept of individual freedoms, individuality, and the individual against the mass. The whole concept of huge military projects could be created in caves with spare parts is kind of Ayn Randian, but it's not the way military systems work. Military systems are involved with giant teams in highly organized, highly hierarchicalized, um, bureaucratic mixtures of state and government agencies with very clear patterns. Any type of military system will involve tens of thousands of particular people working on it. Even simplest projects that go into ministries of departments of defense around the world always become huge, very bloated, very highly bureaucratic, very expensive projects. And yet we're given this kind of myth of this guy who was in a cave and he just kind of made the greatest machine ever. The key message, though, in the short term, you have to pay attention to Iron Man, particularly the first movie, to notice is the air and space industry is very concerned about drones. Drones pose a huge threat to the industrial military concept because they are so damn cheap and they are just better than flying planes. The other problem, though, is there's not very much money to be made on drones. Drones can pull G-forces that would kill a pilot. You don't care if you lose one. You don't care how dangerous the mission is. It gets knocked down and you don't have to worry about maybe a pilot surviving and being paraded through a street. Ultimately, what the military really wants are drones. Okay? What the large aerospace companies want is manned planes. They're much more expensive to build. They're much more complicated. They involve much more maintenance. They're much more profitable. They get much more people employed. So what you get in Iron Man, and you even saw it in the first movie when you had the debate between the drone and the manned plane, how about just the man removed of, it's not even a man in a plane, but it's just the man. The Iron Man suit is completely dehumanized vehicle. So now you're going the opposite, the extreme radical opposite of drone. Not only should you not develop drones, but you need to develop manned flight, but even go beyond that and develop this extreme kind of manned flight without vehicle. And of course, in the mythology of American mythology, he's built this thing in his garage. He tests it in his garage with all these priceless cars around. I mean, it's all kind of funny and ridiculous. I tend to think, propaganda and media, something like Iron Man, I tend to think is probably, even though it really does have clear messages it's trying to get through in the public, and that can't be debated. I tend to think films like Iron Man are most revealing in their own impotency. That just doesn't really convince anyone. I mean, you would really have to be a kind of a fool, and it becomes literally more than just an ongoing ad for. They tack ads on for Condé Nast and Burger King because Hollywood, just wants to hedge its bets, wants to fill it with as many ads as possible, and maybe Burger King and Condé Nast is a better bet than military-industrial complex. So you get a kind of strange series of movies like the Iron Man movies.